Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Quick look here again at Polkadot, seeing what's going on here. It's actually looking quite strong, but also tentatively rejecting out of that 655 mark we talked about previously being a strong resistance with our previous ascending wedge pattern breakdown. So when we take a look at this here, we want to look at the backend data, of course, and kind of understand generally where we're at. But we also want to recognize trend lines here too, because when a coin is doing what this coin is doing right now, it's important to, I guess, kind of look at the big picture and just know that there's certain factors that are relevant and present that we need to be mindful of. Okay, so I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about there. First of all, I want to say thank you again to my community member who requested this, HCL. You've been awesome. Deeply appreciate you. I guess this one's for you and whomever else wants to learn, but I deeply appreciate your insight. This gentleman gave us some really good feedback on the community and making some good positive changes there. So I'm hoping it continues to go well. And thanks again for the awesome feedback and appreciate you, man. Okay, so Polkadot liquidation levels first. Again, liquidation, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like button, of course. But what I want to get at here is if you're new to this liquidation in general, like what does it mean? This is basically just areas of liquidation that's, are potentially going to get destroyed if the price goes in that direction. So if you're shorting this coin, there's a lot of people shorting this coin roughly at about the $6.55 mark. The reason for that is because that's up just above the most recent high. It's common to short at resistance. Okay, so again, that they're in profit, so to speak. The key takeaway here, though, is that resistance level is very, very common for those areas to get swept and then the price reverse itself. Okay, so again, it's not a guarantee. If there's a lot of divergences here, maybe not a big deal. But if you kind of see here, it's inevitable for these resistance ranges or support ranges to get hit hard at some point. That's why you don't just keep a trade open forever, because it'll inevitably reverse on you. Having said that, we take a look here, we can see a lot of liquidation, somewhere in the range of 140 million at 650, about 150 million and 160 million at roughly about, what is that? It's basically a 660 mark. Okay, so either way you look at it, the price has more propensity to increase to, at the very least, sweep that level of liquidation and then to pull back. It's a really common manipulation tactic. So just know that that's a possibility here. Is that a guarantee? Certainly not. But we want to kind of work within those parameters. So again, if we take this line and draw it out here on the daily, we can recognize that there's a lot of support and resistance in this range. So previously, this level has been tested multiple times, and then once it broke below, the price action stays below. Okay. So we've retested this level at about 650 quite a few times. So the best thing to do instead of being a breakout trader and to try to trade into a resistance, or obviously the inverse short into a resistance, the best thing to do in most cases is to wait for the price action to break through that level and to retest it as a support. Okay, that's generally the best way to go. Again, a lot of this hinges on Bitcoin's success or lack thereof and where Bitcoin goes next. Bitcoin does drop. This ascending trend line means nothing. We are over the 50 and the 20-day SMA, however, which is a very, very good sign. We like to see that. That's generally what we are looking for when we, when we take trades to the upside. Okay, stochastic is starting to top out a little bit, but MFI, it's kind of going sideways. We don't have a lot of volume, which isn't great. The RSI is above 50, so we got more constellations here. More positive than negative is probably the best way to describe it. But once more, this low volume is not what I like to see. We need to have more volume above the price action there, and at that point, that's when you consider taking a long. I know it seems crazy. It's like, wait a minute, if the volume increases and the price goes up, aren't they going to be taking an entry at a higher price point? Yes, but you'll be taking that with confirmation. You have more likelihood of finding success to go in the same direction you want to instead of going against the grain. Again, trading into a resistance level is not always the most appropriate. It can be beneficial. I do it all the time. Don't get me wrong. There's certain ways to do it, but this just doesn't feel like one of those situations. Specifically, mainly because I feel like Bitcoin is due for a bit more of a correction to the downside to sweep some lower liquidity, or possibly even fill that CME gap at 58.5, upwards of 60.9. Again, if you're a part of my community, you already know that. I send trade alerts now to kind of give you insight on what I'm thinking for my trades. So just to clarify, it looks like this, trade alerts. These are specific descriptions of what I feel is going to happen with these coins and where we're going to go from here. Again, kind of like a premature signal or something that's kind of just giving you the light before the darkness. That's such a terrible analogy. Sorry, forget I said that. Okay, so Polkadot 4-hour time frame, we're over 50 on the RSI, but we have a divergence here, right? You can see pretty clear the RSI is tapering off, whereas the price action is mostly going sideways. I guess it's kind of tapering if you can't count the candlesticks. But generally speaking, when you see the RSI tapering off like that and the price action staying where it's at, it is due for a correction. We also see MACD is diverging, and there's a lot of reasons why the price is more likely to decrease because of those factors. Now, if we do take a look at the general point of control here, we can see there's a lot of control in the current price range. 620 to 630 has a lot of volume. Okay, so once we break below that, if we do, that would be a cause for consideration to either A, short, or B, consider entry at some of these lower 0.382, 0.5, or 0.618 fib levels. Those are typically always good dollar cost average targets. Either way you look at it here, the 4-hour time frame is mostly bearish. However, we're over all of the moving averages, except for the 20 now. So generally speaking, when you're over the moving averages, that's usually a good sign to keep interest in the upside. So we haven't broken this trend line. Just keep this in mind. Even though we have some bearish divergences in the 4-hour, we haven't broken bearish yet. We're still honoring this ascending trend line. And until we break 655, I just think that there's more propensity to go sideways and down versus break up above. I mean, you see what happened last time. I know history doesn't always repeat itself, but there's a good chance we will see a liquidity sweep for the price action and a pullback. That's just my speculation based off years of trading and seeing how manipulative the markets are, specifically crypto, ever since Bitcoin and spot ETFs got approved. Okay, hourly time frame. This is goodish, but not really. Lagging span's been free and clear, within the price action, not free and clear for some time. This implies you should have secured profits roughly 2 days ago, maybe even 3 days ago. Okay, on Sunday when the price action hit 655. Now again, it's not to say that you just take a trade at any given time or you close it because that one thing, but that basically is a conservative indicator telling us that you probably want to consider closing your trade. We have the conversion line, the baseline above and below, kind of wavering above and beyond, above and below. So the key takeaway here is that we are fairly well range bound. Until we break this range either to the upside or the downside, we can presume it's going to continue. Okay. Now logically, with us establishing higher lows, it'll likely break to the upside because of that. Okay, honoring the ascending trend. However, that doesn't happen, and just say the price continues over here, there's a good chance that that'll be a good consideration for a short because the price is unable to break through that resistance. Once more, this all hinges on Bitcoin if Bitcoin wants to pull back further or increase. That's the interesting and strange, crazy thing about trading crypto. It's all based on one coin. I think it's freaking ridiculous that most altcoins have to move with Bitcoin. I think it's so stupid. I would love to be able to just, like basically traditional charts. They always move independent from one another because they have established values. These ones are all based on Bitcoin. The trading pair itself being connected to the actual ticker symbol. So it's insane and crazy. But anyways, that's a conversation for another day. I don't love that, as you could tell. The summary here, if we take a look at the point of control, or just say today's point of control, right there at about 647 is where we see the most amount of buying or selling pressure. And with us being below that, there's a solid chance, again, the price is more likely to decrease because the bears are controlling this 24-hour period. So me personally, I feel that Polkadot will slowly decrease in value. Again, if it breaks 655, different story altogether. Strong chance we're going to see a bullish backtest to that horizontal support level and continue higher. That's what I'm looking for. This is where I like to take entry. Problem is, not a lot of altcoins are coming up to resistance levels. They've already blasted straight through them and haven't looked back and haven't retraced yet. Or, just like this, they're ready to explode but haven't yet either. So to me, when I see this and everything we looked at so far, it's a lot of conflicting information. It doesn't make a ton of sense to trade until we break through either the ascending trend line here to the downside, potentially short, or we essentially close above 655 soundly on the daily and go from there. I hope that makes sense either way. I apologize for all the extra nonsense that I tend to speak when I make my videos here, but I can tell you it's generally for your best interest because I work with a lot of newer traders and very frustrating to see them come over here getting destroyed with other communities. But it's also, it's good for business, I guess. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. Either way, I'm here for you. CryptoCache.tech if you want to register to become a better trader. We've got a trading academy, community, and signals group. We all trade with the world's best exchange. Again, this is my personal opinion, but BitUnix is phenomenal. Link down below. Use their link to register. Compliments to them for just providing a great no KYC or VPN required exchange for our community. Thanks again. We'll see you all in the next one. Hope you have a great rest day. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.